Welcome back, everyone. This is your Sharp Squares podcast for week 11 of the 2025-26 season with Greg Roth. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer, and here we go. The ambassador, Dave Eby, he's got a hangnail and, was complaining about it, and we figured, he's so valuable to us. Why not? We wanted to push it this part of the season. We need him healthy for the playoffs.
An important diplomatic mission.
That's right.
The ambassador is on.
Well, with the government shutdown now, maybe he has to go out to work. Who knows? All right, here we go. Last week, our Sharps, 20 and 22, 47.6%. However, our medal games were 3 and 2. I'm not going to say it. Algorithm switch seems to be working. Modifications, that is.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
We've had 7 straight weeks of going 3 and 2 in pick 5. It's just a fact. It's not a gen. We're just stating the fact.
And I think that, yeah.
7 straight 3, not 7 straight 3 and 2 weeks. We've had 7 straight winning weeks, but just to be clear, no 5 and 0s, no 4 and 1s. 7 straight 3 and 2. That's the uncanny part about it.
So when you do the math, when we started the season 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, we're just 500 right now. But we're 500 for the first time in over a season and a half. Those of you who listen to us know we had a great run in 23 and in 22 and in 21. But now in 24 was a disaster. We're our Sharps are grinding it out. We've changed the math, and we seem to be on a little bit of a streak. Most importantly for us, selfishly, 3-2-1. We earned 4 of 6 points last week, and we are in the top 6 in that. So we're in it. We're in it for the season. As the aforementioned 500 in pick 5 and 3-2-1, 52% of our points. You guys don't care about that. What you care about are this week's picks. We communicate that to you through a segment we call Gold, Silver, Bronze. And to deliver that to you, as he does each and every week from South Beach, everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. 7 straight weeks, a lot of pressure. Week 11. What do we have? We have quality over quantity this week. 3 medal games. 2 of those 3 are gold. None of them are silver, and there is a bronze game. The top-rated game, although this week both gold games were a virtual statistical tie, but technically by just the smallest margin, the top-rated game, the pick, is the Minnesota Vikings. They're -3. They're hosting the Chicago Bears. Gil Alexander, Stuckey, Fabian Summer, Adam Chernoff, Cleve TA all picked Minnesota. The whale capper was the lone dissenter on the Bears. The second-rated game, almost as good as the first. Also gold. The pick. I know you're going to like it. Last week you didn't like the Saints and the Dolphins, but man, oh man, both those teams looked good really throughout the entire game last Sunday at 1 o'clock. The pick this week, the second goal game, is the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns. You heard that right. +8.5. They are a big home dog taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Stuckey, Gianni the Greek, Adam Chernoff all picked Cleveland. Nobody picked Baltimore. There are no silver games. There is 1 bronze game. That pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're -5.5, welcoming the Cincinnati Bengals to Pittsburgh. Adam Chernoff and Chris Raybon both picked Pittsburgh. The Sharp or Square podcast in dissented pick Cincinnati. So the Browns at +8.5 and the Vikings at -3 are gold. There's nothing at silver, and the Steelers at -5.5 are bronze. That makes our 3-2-1 picks very easy. Vikings -3, Browns +8.5, Steelers -5.5. Pick 5, obviously, those 3 teams make the cut. as we have done successfully now, I guess, certainly the last 6 or 7 weeks. How do we round out our pick five? We take the next highest rated games in our system. Again, these are not medal games. They're simply the next highest rated game. The fourth highest rated game, the picks the San Francisco 49ers. They're -2.5. They're in Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Gil Alexander took the 49ers. Gianni the Greek took Arizona. Why is the split there? How does it make it to our fourth rated game? Obviously, it's just the pick at -3 versus the line in the pool at -2.5. The fifth highest rated game and rounding out our pick five is the New York Giants. They're +7.5. Another big home dog hosting the Green Bay Packers. Jeff Schwartz and Marty Herney both picked the Giants. Nobody picked the Packers. So Vikings, Steelers, and Browns are medal games. Add in the 49ers and Giants to round out our pick five. And that's what you got this week in week 11.
Maybe without EB kind of threatening to take your job on the sidelines, you're looser because that was an incredible gold, silver, bronze by you. I mean, you were just loose. You were swinging freely. Great job. If that's all you were looking for, you are now all dismissed. And we're going to do some trends. We've got 3 games we're going to give you handicapping highlights for our top 3. If you want to stick around, I'll start things off and Greg will kind of go back and forth here with the trends produced by the aforementioned Greg Roth. First one, backup QBs are over machines. Per Evan Abrams and Bet Labs, we've had 35 backup QB starts so far this season. In those 34 line games with a backup, the over is, wait for it, 77%, 26-8, including 6-1 since week 9. We've got backup QB candidates this week: the Commanders, the Giants, the Bengals, the Texans, the Niners. No, not the Niners anymore. I do not think that is true. I do believe Brock Purdy is playing, and the Cardinals. So there you have it. Great stuff.
And Purdy, I don't like. There's kind of a quarterback controversy there, so I don't know if that is that applicable. Maybe Mac Jones is the starter.
Now you're kidding.
Anyway, now I'm on a tangent. The next trend: bad chalk teams, Packers and Titans. We know certainly about the Titans, but check this out about the Packers, and this does help our pick 5 pick on the Giants. This is from Evan Abrams and Bet Labs. Green Bay's 0-5 against the spread this season when favored by 4+ points. I think we were a benefactor of that last week or 2 weeks ago when we had them as a big favorite against the Panthers. More on the Packers and Jordan Love from John Ewing. Jordan Love is a favorite of 6 or more points this season. They're only 2-3-1 straight up and 0-6 against the spread in 2025. Titans, they're well documented, a bad chalk team, as we suffered through a lot of picks with them last year. They're 1-11. This is from John Ewing at Bet Labs. 1-11 against the spread in their last 12 home games. And in the last 3 years, Eric, 12-30-1 against the spread. That's 29%. Basically, they can't cover anything at home. I don't know, who are they playing this week? We should have that.
They're playing the Texans.
They're playing the Texans at home, so there you go.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be on the Titans this week when I woke up this morning, so I was kind of relieved about that. All right, last trend, disrespected dogs. We've got 2 of them we're going to talk about. This is also per Evan Abrams. The Broncos versus the Chiefs. The Broncos are 8-2 straight up and about a 3.5 home dog versus Kansas City right now. In the wild card era, there's only one comparable late season spot, and that was back in 2013 when the 9-2 Chiefs were a +5 underdog at home versus Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos. So disrespected dog there in the Broncos. You also have the Lions, Jared Goff. In the Jared Goff era, the Lions are 23-11 ATS as dogs. That's 68%. So Detroit again, in their best role, they're a short dog on Sunday night in Philadelphia. So if you're looking for those disrespected teams, you got the Broncos catching more than a field goal at home. And then you got the Lions, 23-11 ATS as a dog in the Jordan Goff era. All right, first of our two goal games, as Greg had mentioned, they're virtually statistical dead heat here. Vikings -3. This is about the Bears defense profile, which is artificially inflated, and regression is going to be hard without all of the turnover advantage that they have achieved so far. They are an extremely fraudulent 6-3, according to Stuckey of the Action Network, driven by turnover luck, not sustainable play. They're +14 for the record in turnovers, and have recovered 6 more fumbles than expected. When you take those out, those turnovers out, Chicago's defense ranks 30th EPA per play, 31st in dropback EPA, and 32nd in early down EPA. That's all from the Action Network. Second big area why you'd want to take the Vikings' massive strength of schedule gap favors Minnesota. Stuckey goes on by saying that Chicago's only faced one of the softest schedules in the league, with opponents winning only 35% of their games. Minnesota has just played a brutal defensive gauntlet. This is like, just listen to this, Greg. Eagles, Ravens, Chargers, Lions, and Packers are who Minnesota has played. Now they face a Bears defense described as dead last in those early down efficiencies, and once those turnovers are removed. So this is going to be a clear step down in class for Minnesota's offense. Third area, and this is sort of along the same lines, but just on the other side of the ball, Flores' defense and the pressure that he creates through his schemes versus Caleb Williams creates a real big advantage for the Vikings. Third area of handicap is the matchup just on the other side of the ball now. Flores' defensive pressure versus Caleb Williams is a real edge for Minnesota. His defense is surging, the Vikings defense, that is, having control of both the Lions and the Ravens run games in recent weeks. And finally, the Vikings offense is getting healthier and the Bears defense is depleted. Austin Mock at Forward Progress, he says McCarthy's best game of the season was against Chicago. He now faces an even more depleted version of that same defense. Fabian Sommer jumps in. Chicago's defensive injuries at defensive line and the secondary create a major step down compared to Minnesota's recent opponents. The timestamps for this game, you could check them out at the Action Network at 8 minutes 35 seconds, Covers podcast at 2 minutes 38 seconds, and the Deep Dive that does have a dissenting view at 42 minutes and 5 seconds.
I know you're not going to like it, but I really like that handicap on Minnesota. Like that Vikings game there. And the fading the Bears part makes sense to me. The second gold game, we have handicapping highlights that picks the Browns +8.5. They're a big home dog welcoming Baltimore. The theme of the first handicapping highlight, Browns home defense, is one of the NFL's most dominant units. From Stuckey, the Action Network, he calls Cleveland's home defense, quote, one of the best units in the NFL over the last 3 years, unquote. At home this year, Cleveland has held Joe Burrow to 17 points, Jordan Love to 10 points, and the Miami Dolphins to 6 points. Not bad. As a touchdown or more home underdog, the Browns are 3-0 against the spread this year. Deep Dive adds that Cleveland's defense forces Baltimore into tight, low-scoring games. Historically, Baltimore's explosive plays are limited versus this defensive front. Second handicapping highlight theme is the weather and matchup conditions suppress Baltimore's offense more than Cleveland's. From the Action Network, cold plus heavy wind gusts hurt Baltimore's explosive passing far more than Cleveland's short, tight end heavy passing game. From Steve Fezzik of the Dream Preview, winds 25 miles an hour plus, I'm not sure we know what they're going to be, will restrict Lamar's passing, especially with recent injuries and Jackson's reduced mobility. Third theme, Ravens run game struggles against Cleveland's front. Again, from the Action Network, Baltimore's run game always struggles versus Browns' front, calling Cleveland's run defense an elite unit. Ravens depend heavily on ground efficiency. When neutralized, their offense becomes less explosive and more predictable. Timestamps in this game, Action Network, 19 minutes, 7 seconds. Bet on it, 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Even money, 25 minutes and 17 seconds. In the Dream Preview, 1 hour and 14 minutes and 19 seconds.
Third highest ranked game this week, the Steelers -5.5, playing the Bengals. First handicap highlight grouping is the Bengals defense is lousy and Pittsburgh's offense is on the rise. Action Network talks about how Cincy's defense is bottom tier, especially versus tight ends, and Pittsburgh has 4 tight ends who rotate meaningfully, creating a consistent matchup advantage. The Bengals are also missing Hendrickson, further crippling an already deteriorating pass rush. And with Cincinnati unable to generate pressure and unable to cover those tight ends, the Steelers' offense will find multiple pathways to move the ball. Second grouping is all about Joe Flacco not being good versus pressure. The Action Network talks about a 41% completion rate when pressured for Joe Flacco, with only 1 TD on 49 pressure dropbacks this season. Pittsburgh can generate pressure without even sending extra rushers, which is described as critical versus Flacco, and the Bengals' recent high scoring is viewed as inflated, deceptive, and unsustainable, and came against much weaker defenses. Steelers' defense has been struggling, but that's my commentary. Sorry. And the weather in Pittsburgh is expected to hurt Cincinnati more than Pittsburgh, compounding Flacco's accuracy issues. Third kind of grouping is the Steelers' run game. Action Network talks about Cincinnati's run defense is porous, allowing consistent chunk gains and operating lanes for both Warren and Harris. And the fourth and final area of why and reason why you should take Pittsburgh, the defense is creating pressure without blitzing, and there's just a structural advantage here in this matchup. Non-blitz pressures forces predictable throws, and Cincinnati is missing Hendrickson, while Pittsburgh is healthy enough on the edges to collapse the pocket consistently. Timestamps here, Action Network, 38 minutes, 2 seconds. Deep Dive, 33 minutes, 12 seconds. And the Covers podcast, 7 minutes, 28 seconds. Great job to the team, as usual. PMAC, great job. EB, look forward to seeing you. Feel better soon. He's fine. Just a reminder, none of us are truly sharp. But this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.